Leaves no listener behind.
Greetings, this is Empire Talks Back, brought to you by West Side Story newspaper, the soul of the Empire, and the Improved Association, Questing for Solutions, also brought to you by Covered California. Now, there's been a lot of news about healthcare lately. Here's more. It's open enrollment. Covered California is here to help find a health plan that's right for you. Visit coveredcalifornia.com today. I'm Wallace Allen, your host. We'll be back right after this short break.
Falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle doesn't sound good. But falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle with no health insurance sounds even worse. Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does. At Covered California, we can help you get financial help to pay for your health plan. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com today. Open enrollment ends January 31st.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Did you know it wouldn't be so easy letting you go? I could have told you that it's gonna take a miracle.
Yeah, folks, it's going to take a miracle.
Yes, it's gonna take a miracle.
But guess what? We've done that before, too. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. We're here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. Very appropriate song. We are in need of a miracle. But don't let that scare you, okay? Because we've had miracles before. We're celebrating the historic march through our conscience of Dr. Martin Luther King. He hit us hard. He made us think about it, and he still has us thinking about it, which is fortunate because so does Mr. Trump. You know, the line has two ends, you know, always. I don't care how short the line is. I don't care how long it is. The ends always describe extremes. If it were not for the problem, we'd have no idea of the strength that we have in order to fix them. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I'm going to take you with me on this, folks. 2 days ago, I had the homeowner blues. I had a big leak. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. The water department called my wife and said, "Oh, you guys have used up about a month and a half worth of bill in the last 2 weeks. Think you got a leak." Problem. What's the real problem? I don't know what the real problem is. I just know I have a problem. I got a big leak. I'm the homeowner. Who am I going to call? Whew, that's the question. Who do we call? Well, today we have at the left far end of the table, we have Mr. Carlos. We have Diana next to him, and moving toward me, we have Evangelica. And to my right, we have Miss Tammy Martin Riles. Tammy, introduce these wonderful people. Tell me why they're here. I know it takes a miracle.
Yes,
and
it does.
I know that there's a problem. My issue is, what is the real problem? What is the master problem? What is the problem that when we fix this problem, the rest of them will be rolling like dominoes? And it's going to be kind of like what happened with my water leak, I'm sure. Because, see, yeah.
Why you think that there's going to be a problem?
No,
after we
problems,
fix the problem?
problems drive our inspiration. Problems are our base of inspiration. Problems help us describe our strength. Lord, help you when you don't think you've got a problem, because now your problem is really ignorance. Because
well, sometimes I think I have a situation.
Well, I don't mean you. I don't mean you personally. I mean how you describe it. See, you've decided to describe anything that confronts you not as a problem, but as a situation.
As a situation.
Same thing, but there's something confronting you that inspires you to move forward, not backward, not sideways. It makes you aggravate your thought process. Aggravate your growth process and grow. Like physics says, you have, for every action, there's a reaction. Okay, so we cannot sit here in a dynamic world and sit quietly and expect it.
Okay,
everything is normal. So we're here acting and reacting. So I'm going to preach my sermon.
Philosophy. I got a philosopher in the room today.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So
everybody has a philosophy, and sometimes they act on it, and sometimes they just own it. Don't know. They're wandering. They have a problem. They don't know what the problem is.
What?
Let's introduce our folk here.
I'm going to introduce our folks. Well, Angelica, can you raise your hand? Can you tell everybody hello?
Hi, my name is Angelica.
We need a mic, you guys. Pull up those mics real close, and you're going to need to speak directly into those mics. Angelica Sarmiento. And you know what? I'm good at pronouncing people's names, but after being out of school for 3 weeks, it feels like, wow. I'm like, I got to get my lips and tongue right. Okay, so Angelica is...
And I'm supposed to be crazy. Okay.
Angelica is here to talk about a $3,000 grant to brace your home from earthquake, brace, and bolt, right?
Yes.
And so she's going to talk about that, and then we're going to go all the way. And you guys, you better listen, because this is prevention. Not after you've had problems. After you have problems, everybody call and we upset, we miserable. So we want to be happy before, because we don't want a problem. Anyway, we're going to go on over to Diana, Miss Diana McKee. And Diana is starting her very own, I'm going to say she is started. She's just waiting on the confirmation to just go ahead and move her kids in. But she started a charter school. So she's going to talk about all about that. It's TLCS. Yes. Tender love and care. No, that's not what it is, but that's why I like it. And then all the way to the end is Mr. Carlos. And Mr. Carlos is here to help Angelica. They work together, but he's more on the construction end. She's more on the end that brings it all together. She's like the angel.
And the administrator.
And the administrator.
The producer.
The producer. She's the angel. And she brings all the little angels together, and she makes this heaven of a project. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, my concept of angels has never been one of them laying the brick, But,
but they'll find the bricklayer.
But that's different.
Yeah,
that's different. Let's see if they lay in the brick. Yeah, we found the bricklayer.
So did you like that, Wallace?
Yes, very good. That means we have people who are here to prepare people with your school. Is that what it is? You have a charter school that you're working with, and everybody knows we all need a handyman. I needed a handyman yesterday, 2 days ago with the leak. Yes,
I had a leak too. I did. Okay. I had a leak about 2 weeks ago. I think this is the season during winter.
Well, it's
summer or winter is when things break down. Yeah. Extreme heat or extreme cold.
Well, as I'm very specific and particular in my example, I want your vision on this to be very general and wide, because I'm going to go say it again. We're here celebrating this week the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, a legend, an icon in the concept of our morality, our ability to work together, to live together. And at the same time that we're there, and that's fortunate that we are with that to lean on as our leader of our country, the greatest nation on the planet, is once again pushing to separate us, pushing to make things harder, to give us earthquakes that we're not prepared for, to take away educational opportunities for our children, to make the competition for life a competition in areas where we should just be giving and inspiring each other. I think education is something everyone should have access to. It makes me a better rider when the driver knows where he's going. And that takes some education. Why are you starting your charter school, Miss Diana? Please, the microphone. I'll pick it up next time so you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just slide it over.
Yeah,
Maybe you move
but
your
talk
book out of your
directly
way.
into it.
Okay, the reason why I'm starting the charter school is I want to make a difference in the community. I want to give an opportunity to students that may not be able to function in a regular school setting and be able to get more attention with smaller class sizes, and also get the extra help that they need.
Now, who are those students? Is there a demographic? Is there a description? Is there a statistical, schematic, anything that you're thinking about beyond that description that describes these students more?
Yes, I'm actually looking into foster youth because I've had experience working with them as a counselor. And also my first master's, my paper was on educating foster youth. So I looked at the statistics, and you have 80% of them that are, even if they graduate, are usually ending up being incarcerated because they don't have the skills that they need that they would have gotten in a stable home.
Okay, are we saying that most foster kids end up incarcerated? Are we saying most people who are incarcerated, many of them have been foster children? Big difference.
It could be for petty crimes, or different crimes that they face trying to learn how to survive because they never learned the skills to how to survive. And when you look at their education, their transcripts don't necessarily follow as quickly as the law demands it to follow. Schools are supposed to transfer their transcripts within 2 days. So that way, they're not making up classes continually. So like some instances, taking bio 5 times. And if the transcripts aren't following, the counselor is going to look, do the best that they can on their age to get them the core classes that they need to get done. That was some of my findings.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask this then. Are you suggesting, is your school going to be specifically and solely for foster kids?
Not solely. I'm also looking at getting some of the disengaged youth, the ones that have kind of lost their hope on seeing what future that they could have, and needing to see that there is hope and there are other things that they can do that may be of interest to them.
Once again, are these students, is that profile based on their grades and their grades alone, or what are the elements of the profile help you decide what student? And I guess with a charter school, it being a public school, how do you restrict the children that and get to the kids you're looking for? You
can't restrict. According to the Ed Code 47605, you take all students.
Okay.
So you don't cream what is known as when you're taking the higher GPAs. You don't do that. You're not supposed to. You take all students that apply.
So your goal of working to help foster children and children who have been over a period of time denied access, their grades are lower and they have a obvious greater need because their grades are lower, you can't select those students. You still have to take everybody. So that's
according to law.
So what's the point?
What's the point?
I mean, in having a specific group of kids that you're looking for, but not be able to actually deal with them in that, or assure that you're going to get to deal with them. What is the real problem?
What is the real problem? We need to make education relevant to all students, because right now some of the reasons why students are disengaged, which is 12.3% in the nation that are disengaged in the classroom, and that translates to about 4.9 million students that are disengaged.
So and that's just students.
Yes.
What's our general situation with critical thinking and being able to access critical thinking, the ability to decide what's really good for me and move in that direction? Because first of all, let me applaud you and thank you for being concerned about our children, especially being for you able to look beyond what would normally say, well, we got to educate everybody. You're able to see some differences in access. You're able to see some differences in the result. You're able to see some differences in what some children have access to and what some don't. And you are trying to fill that gap, and that's why you need to be applauded. That's why we say, well, whatever it is that you're doing, we may say some things critical about it, but those should just sharpen you up and make you stronger in your effort to do it, because we need for you to win. We need for you to have access to children's minds that you can help inspire, that you can help feel the fullness of who they are, so they can contribute.
One of the things I've noticed, I've been in education for 15 years as a teacher, counselor, and administrator. One thing that I've noticed is we have a new generation of learners right now, and they're not seeing that education as relevant. They see that they're taking courses and they don't understand, why do I have to take this? Well, because they don't see a future with it.
The idea of, and what is the real problem? We can say the children, gosh, they didn't really want to learn. Angelica, as we talk to you, you're going to tell us about how people really didn't want to invest in preparing their house for an earthquake that they weren't sure is going to happen. But children, do they have the responsibility of knowing the benefit of education? They haven't experienced it. All they can do is witness it. My point here, Diana, is to once again applaud you for making your decision to be responsible and attempt to teach children. My question now is, who's really responsible for following through to be sure that this package is delivered? Is it the children who have no idea of the value of the package, or is it society that knows all of the benefits that are going to be derived if this package is delivered successfully, this package of education, this package of inspiration to our children? What's the real problem? Is it the kids, or is it society and what we're doing?
Let me say this before she answers. I think Diana needs to tell you, see, most charter schools have a structure of what the base of the school represents.
I'm not really talking about the school.
No.
I'm much bigger than that. I'm talking about education in general,
No.
and I'm not here to try to give a commercial. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to show
no, it's
you.
not a commercial.
No,
It's not a commercial. What I'm saying is charter, no, and I'm not, this is not, I'm saying, when you were saying, what is she going to do, every charter school has a baseline of what that charter school represents. Her charter school, why don't you tell them the baseline of what your charter school is structured on?
I would love to, because that will answer all of your questions
That's what I'm
that
saying.
you've been asking. Okay, making it relevant is I'm bringing in teachers that are going to be doing hands-on project-based learning. We're also going to be doing community initiative projects, so students can start seeing outcomes of what they're doing. They can feel like they're involved in what they're doing. And then you start seeing, I need, for instance, one of the things I'm looking into is the students building a park. Make that a part of the curriculum. So then they start seeing the outcomes. Oh, hey, we did this. So they're seeing the benefits of what they can do. Our focus is college and career tech ed. So I'm offering 4 academies: business, information technology, manufacturing, health sciences. And in those 4 categories, there's 3 different sets of classes that they can take.
So what we've described is, what is the real problem? You see that the real problem is inspiration and something that demonstrates the result of being inspired. As much as we get with Angelica, she's going to say, I've talked to people about preparing, and success for me is when they get prepared.
Yes.
And your success is when you get to see these kids complete a project. My success yesterday with the leak was much like yours. There was a problem that I saw, and forgive me for appearing to slide past your stuff, but the general world out here has to be inspired too.
Yeah.
They have to understand that every day we wake up, there's something confronting us that we have the opportunity to push to the side.
You've got to come up with a why for them to come up. And the other thing that I didn't have a chance to mention is our students are required to do community service and internships every single year. And I'm doing grades 7 through 12, so in 7th grade, they're going to start doing community service projects. So that gives them a feel for what it's like to be out in the work world. and helping and learning things and learning all the soft skills that they may not have right now because they're not learning it from either the schools or at home or wherever. They're starting to get the skills that they need that will make them successful out in the world. And they're also then being prepared for going to 4-year, 2-year, or vocation. That's their decision. But they will have all the experience that they need to be successful after graduation.
See, one of the things that you're teaching there, and inside of all of that is a morality. I don't know where you are in terms of teaching the kids to be understanding of the difference between building walls and building bridges, but to me that's the part of the philosophy, the morality that we have to deal with as we realize that despite 400 years of fighting things that are leading to and building up and reinforcing racism, separation, between the people in this country, and at the same time we've got people working to get rid of that, and we still have people working to not to mitigate it, but to keep the worm alive. So
yeah. I'm looking at life skills.
Well, you're looking at life skills, but at the same time, I'm saying as you cannot teach life skills without teaching morality. And as Mr. Carlos works with them, and I'm assuming that, when we say construction.
No, he works construction, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As he works construction, I would assume that the philosophy, my father was a bricklayer, my father was a mason, okay, and knowing that building something facilitates something. I heard someone say a couple of years ago, we were talking about a senator up in Alaska building a bridge to nowhere. Well, we built the railroads in America to nowhere, and they became somewhere. So when you build a bridge, when you say that a country is a toilet, you build a philosophical policy for how the people who are operating under you are going to operate. When you say it's okay to discriminate, when you say that it's okay to deny people access, you are building a policy and a philosophy in folks. So as we do what we do, we always have that fringe effect, and that's what I'm here to talk about today, is the fringe effect of our activities. And at the same time, congratulate you for doing what you do, because it is honorable, but at the same time, it could go to the left or it could go to the right. And we see that there are consequences, circumstances, I could call them problems, opportunities, but at every corner of movement, we are doing things that affect not just what we're thinking about, but they make a ripple in society. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. I've got some wonderful guests here. When I come back, we're going to spend a little bit more time with Mr. Carlos, and we're going to spend some time with Evangelica, and we're going to keep talking with Diana and Miss Tammy here. And folks, if you want to call in and tell me how crazy I am, you can do that too. It's 909-792-5222.
Yes.
Falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle doesn't sound good. But falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle with no health insurance sounds even worse. Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does. At Covered California, we can help you get financial help to pay for your health plan. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com today. Open enrollment ends January 31st.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
I don't even know how to kiss your lips at a moment like this, but I
Yes, learning how to love each other. Listen, that's not a sexual statement, people. You know, the society, the world that we live in is one of distraction. We can hear a very totally perfectly innocent philosophical statement and turn it into something raw and physical and non-lasting, having absolutely no spiritual value. But that's a decision that we make based on our experiences and based on our leadership, based on what people tell us it's good and cool to do. Is it good to take away things from people? I mean, is it better to share? What if you got information and you're able to make the world a better place with that information, Miss Angelica? You have a business that has to do with fixing people to deal with something that here in California we almost just take for granted and try to ignore, and that's earthquakes and things of that sort, right?
I would like to introduce Mr. Carlos. Mr. Carlos comes from Pereira Construction, and he's the actual contractor that actually go and brace these homes.
Braces the homes for
Yes.
future impact of
Future
earthquake
impact
nature.
for the earthquake nature. Yes, you're right.
Retrofitting, they'll call it to some extent.
Correct.
Yes, Mr. Pereira has been doing earthquake retrofit out of the program quite some time. He's also have been doing great projects in the area, and that gave me the inspiration to team up with him for what he has basically have been doing for the last couple of 30 years. Mr. Pereira is locally here in the Inland Empire and will continue to be so because he resides in the local area. So I would just like to introduce Mr. Pereira for him to say a couple words, and then I will go ahead in detail with the program.
I'm very glad to be here with all of you and to be invited. And the purpose is for us to prevent from a future earthquake the houses, the foundation of the houses, by doing retrofitting and make sure that in a good earthquake, most of the house will still stay there, and we will not have any catastrophic cinema.
Right. Now,
And this program is funded by FEMA, which provides to the homeowners up to $3,000. They also get a benefit of a discounted insurance. I believe it's up to 20%.
so FEMA has a funding operation to retrofit your home prior to the emergency. That's
Correct.
interesting because most
Prevention.
of the things that FEMA does, they can only do after the problem has occurred. The relevance of what we're talking about in the Inland Empire, you simply need to go to San Bernardino City Hall to see the relevance of this whole concept, because San Bernardino City Hall has been closed for months now because it has been deemed unsafe in a potential earthquake.
Correct.
And so government-wise, they're able to close that down. They haven't set up a fund or a means to fix it up yet. But you work primarily on homes, or do you work also
Yes.
on buildings?
No,
on,
yes,
on
I've
business
been-
buildings.
I've been a contractor since 1982. I'm a general contractor, so I've done all phases of construction, new construction, additions, as well as block buildings, retaining walls, and also I done retrofitting in houses many years ago, and I done it 2 years ago.
So how does a person know that their house needs to be retrofitted? Where does that information come from? Is there an inspection that they take? Is that a feeling that they have? How do they qualify or even decide to inquire about retrofitting their home?
Well, according to the building construction standards, houses that are all 1940, maybe even older, they qualify because all you have to do is look at underneath the foundation, see if they have to be bolted and also braced.
Are you talking about houses or people? I mean, we can need hip replacements.
Houses. Run that, no,
Houses.
because
Okay,
we got too many people that need to be bolted and braced,
Yeah,
but
well,
houses
I-
are few.
Houses.
I'm gonna be bolted and braced. My wife just
Yeah.
got a knee replacement. I'm saying, you know what? Then we're talking about people over 30 who are.
We are in the construction
In the construction
area.
bit.
Oh, okay.
We have
Not
to
in
go.
the
You playing with
medical
your girl.
area.
We have to
In
go
the
in there.
construction area.
We go in there.
Mr.
We
Mr.
go in there
Garcia
and-
behind you was getting all excited. He thought he could, get a new leg or something.
Watch yourself now. You gotta watch Wallace. Go on here, Carlos.
I know.
Wallace with those, you
I know where they're going.
Yes.
Okay, so that's very interesting.
We-
Once again, how do people decide or find out? Is there an inspection?
We
Do
do
you-
a pre-inspection, make sure that they qualify, and we tell them if they qualify or if they don't.
What makes them call you? Should they look for cracks in the house? I mean, what should make a person be concerned about their house simply because of the age of the house?
One is the
should they
age,
be looking for cracks in the wall? Or?
You can look at the damage of your house, or if you qualify by look at how old is the house. Sometimes you can even tell if you look at put some attention in your foundation in the outside, if it's cracked, and if it has moved from the foundation a slide over a few inches, you can tell. Or the best way to do it is open your crawl space and look underneath and check your foundation.
Okay.
And we do that for them. If they qualify, then they're in the program.
Okay, and so that program offers up to $3,000 for. Does that mean you can retrofit any home for $3,000, or that there's
No.
a?
That's the big
No.
questions. Some houses are huge, and they need, instead of only doing the retrofitting, they also need more work, and that 3,000 will not cover. We might have to charge them a little bit more because it takes more material and more time to do it. But most of the houses, they do qualify for to do the work for the $3,000.
Basically, the program assists
Assist.
the homeowner with $3,000.
Yes, I'm a
then-
homeowner. I'm understanding this, and I think most.
And if you have a crawl space, I will do the inspection for you with Mr. Carlos if you're interested in it.
Okay, so Mr. Carlos, yeah. So anybody that has a crawl space, anybody that has a house over 25, 30
Basically,
years
the
old?
qualification for it is having a raised foundation. Most of these homes were built prior to the 1979, 1940s
Okay.
areas.
Well, 1979 or 1940? No, that's
1979.
Okay.
Okay. All the homes that were built before 1975, at that time, for coding section, they were not bracing and bolting
Okay.
the mud cells to the foundation of the home. So that allows when a volatile movement of the earthquake that it slides.
Oh, no, we understand that problem. Now, what we're trying to figure out is how do we identify the people that are potential and motivate them to call you so that they will be able to get it fixed. Because
If
once
you have
again,
a raised foundation,
the real
that's
problem,
one.
we're going to go down to it again. What is the real problem?
Yes.
The real problem isn't that their house is messed up or potentially messed up. The real problem, because you have a solution, is that they're not aware of your solution. That means the real problem is to get them to be aware of your solution.
Correct.
So all of the information about what you're going to do doesn't really count until you get somebody who's ready to have it done, right? So we're back in the same situation again.
Yes.
First of all, let's give people your phone number, how they can reach you, so that I'm not hiding the
rabbit.
headline here. What is your number? How can people reach you?
Pereira Construction number is 909-969-5049. My name is Angelica, and my phone number is 909-841-0811.
So is there a phone number they can call and accidentally don't even remember anybody's name, but
Yes.
just call that number and
Yes.
somebody will know why they called and
Yes.
welcome them in?
Yes, sir.
Let's give them that number.
Okay, and that's 909-841-0811. And if their home are built in the 1960s, 79 has a crawl space. That's basically, we want to see what type of crawl space they have. Is it for bolting? Is it for cripple wall? And by going out there, the only thing we need from them is basically their name, their address, and their phone number, and we'll be on site to do the inspection, and we will determine the qualification of the foundation. The application is open. There's only a short time frame window, and it's open January 23rd to February 23rd of 2008, and there need to
18.
go to 2018, sorry about that. earthquakebraceandbolt.com is the actual program. EBB, that's where they go online and they apply for the program.
Who's promoting the program? Are there going to be TV commercials, radio commercials?
Yes, the Earthquake Brace and Bolt program has been promoting the program for quite some time. And Mr.
You should tell them they
Pereira
need to
is
jump on
only-
it, because I don't know how long they've been promoting it, but this is the first time I've ever heard those words
Okay.
combined, as you put it together today. So, we're happy to put you on program today, but if they really want people to know, they need to be on some kind of campaign to advertise and promote this if they really want to use this money for something other than to administer a non-functioning program. This is really good, but people have a 30-day window to sign up.
Yes.
From January 23rd to February 23rd. So that period of time it's kind of like Covered California. You have to jump in there and sign
get
up
it done.
during that time if you really want it to happen. So
Pereira Construction will be out in the community. We'll be in Colton this week coming, in San Bernardino, in Redlands, and we will basically be distributing mass flyers going door to door, so people would know about the program and also let them see what we do before the actual
now,
workspace.
you're not the only construction company obviously doing this
No,
program, right?
there are quite a few other construction
So the
companies out
bolt
there.
and what's the name of the program again?
Earthquake Brace and Bolt.
Earthquake Brace and Bolt. So you, Mr. Pereira and Pereira Construction, you're doing your promoting to get out to get your customers. So very good,
Yes,
and
we are.
hopefully others are doing the same thing, and you guys will get a chance to know about it. I think it's very easy to see the parallel between your business and Miss Diana's charter school. We're looking at retrofitting our kids. We're really looking at existing problems in that situation and circumstance, and you've got programs that you're putting together to mitigate those things. How do people? As we say with the school, how soon will your school be open? What's the issue about it being open, and what can we do to support that?
Okay, the vote with San Bernardino City Unified is January 23rd.
Same day as their program starts. Okay.
Coincidence.
Yes. And after that, we would be opening in August. After the approval, we would be opening in August.
Okay. Now, one of the projects that you mentioned that I got excited about was the students building a park, because I know and Mr. Pereira could say too, in any kind of construction, you're going to have the expected become the unexpected, because if it finishes when expected, that surely is unexpected.
Yes.
And all along the way, you have issues and problems that will demonstrate strength for making it work. I think we've all contributed to my little story about the leak, because my leak wasn't fixed just by me. It was fixed because of resources. I reached out and called a couple of people, and I was able to have a very, very handy man show up and give me some good advice. And then I had a construction school manager come and give me some advice. I still had to make the decisions, but the teamwork helped us pull the thing together. And I think that's what we're ultimately talking about as a team, of recognizing our problems, the social problems that we have. Very specifically, we live in an area where earthquakes are prominent. If we don't have some way to deal with that, we're walking around with our eyes closed. In terms of education, that's a constant need that we want to always pull and push for to make that work. So once again, I applaud you guys for all the good work you're doing. We're going to take this short break. When we come back, we're going to stretch our wings a little bit and see about solving the world's problems a little bit based on the same kind of focus and attention that we're putting on our own local situation. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, and we're being backed up by the great mood master, the mood mastering of Mr. Anthony Garcia. I love the way you play it, son. We'll see you right after this break.
Falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle doesn't sound good. But falling down the stairs and breaking your ankle with no health insurance sounds even worse. Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does. At Covered California, we can help you get financial help to pay for your health plan. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com today. Open enrollment ends January 31st.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Keep on believing.
All right.
All the dreams inside
Okay, now. Oh, you out really working it today, Carlos. Achieving. Looking, moving forward. I don't care what the train is. Yeah.
Did you pick this? Keep on believing and achieving.
Carlos.
Go ahead, Carlos.
See, because that's what we have to do, folks. We have to realize that the boat we're riding, keep it going. We have to realize that the boat we're riding in may be leaking and have a little water in it, but you know, if we bail that water out, you know, bailing the water out is the same as bailing us out of this circumstance and situation of pain and deadly force. We got a man in charge talking about the rest of the world being a toilet place.
No, what did he say?
What did he say?
Can we say it on radio?
What we're going to say is, it don't matter what he says. What matters is what we do. Walk together, children. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. This is what we've been doing. Listen, somebody told Dr. King at one point, said, Dr. King, you trying to get us involved in America, get us, get America to open its arms and make black folks feel welcome. But is that any good? It's kind of like we're moving into a house on fire. And Dr. King said, yes. The house is on fire, but we're here to put out the fire.
Yep.
Huh? We're here to save the world. We're here, listen, not just black people on the skin trying to save the world because our behinds are upside down and people are beating it with paddles, with nails and hanging and torturing and skinning people. Listen, when we look at slavery, the enslavement of black folks in America, we're not just talking about people working for free. We're talking about people being totally dehumanized. That's the only way good white people could justify seeing and letting these things go on, because they had to say, well, yeah, I guess they're not human. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, when we want to have a war, the first thing we do is change the name of the people so that they become dehumanized, something less. And that process and procedure from our leadership is devastating, because our leadership, he doesn't do things, but he sets the atmosphere for things to get done. He doesn't make the bills up, he signs the bills, but he certainly sets the attitude. And when he says things that he is saying to separate people, he got to remember that for every action there's a reaction, folks. The reaction that we are in and have been in since the Civil War, since we as a people have decided to be acknowledging that there is a battle for good and evil, that there are some things that we can do that quickly define us as good people or bad people. And you know what? You don't seem to have to be here very long to understand it. Babies understand when they're treated good because they coo. And when they're being treated bad or being denied, they cry. But most people looking at the baby cooing and crying, regardless of where they came from, can relate to, is the baby cooing for nothing? No, he's happy. Is the baby crying for nothing? No, he's wet, he's hungry, he needs attention. We understand those things very simply. I mean, at a very simple stage. So when we are blessed with a man coming through history, through our consciousness, like Dr. King, and he was not perfect at all now, don't get me wrong, but he made us think about things that move us closer to perfection, closer to getting along, closer to being happy about realizing that there's someone in the room stronger than I am, happy about the fact that there's someone in the room smarter than I am, happy about the fact that we're in the room together and we're going to use each other's resources, the resource of each other, to make this world a better place. And that's the opportunity that we have. So yesterday, with my leak in my yard, I was able to reach out and get help, and this morning wake up with a feeling of victory, a feeling of, just, I woke up better this morning than I did yesterday. Yesterday it was still leaking. This morning, I was up and I didn't feel bad about getting up to wash the dishes.
But you still sound a little salty right now, though.
No, well, I'm salty. I'm always salty because I'm not as young as I used to be. You'll get saltier too as you get older.
Jesus gonna bless me to be
See, that's
vibrant.
See, and that's what'll make you salty, because you ain't gonna be as vibrant as you want to be. You're gonna be more vibrant than most people thought you would be, but your desire to be a little bit more vibrant.
Rebuke.
I'm so happy.
How about a little bit of being joy-filled?
Yes. You have to. But my point is, we have to drive and push people to that. And Tammy, I'm glad to know, and anybody that knows you know that you're at 85, 90, 95 all the time. Okay, but some of you, somebody could say,
doesn't slow down.
No, she doesn't. But somebody could say, Tammy ate a little bit better. She could be at 97 all the time. And you know who would say that? Tammy, because she's the one who'd like to be
get raw
all the time. So even in her satisfaction, it describes a level of it could be better. And that's all I'm saying. We can do better, folks, and we get a chance to do better when we think about other people's plight.
Yes.
When I asked you, Diana, about why you're doing your school, you didn't talk about how much new money you're going to make and how proud your kids and friends.
Well, that's the myth. That's the myth of the money.
Well, no, but that's not what I'm talking about.
But I know, but that's one of the myths.
And that's why it needs to be brought out that it's a myth. The thing that's driving you is not the new car, the money. It's, as you stated, I care about educating the kids. Yeah.
That's my heart. And Tammy knows that firsthand.
Same thing about why Tammy teaches.
Yeah. It's fun.
I've actually substituted for her a few times.
Yeah, it's fun. Teaching is fun.
Yeah.
Mr. Pereira, I know that there have been days in your work that it was cold and rainy and you were under a deadline, and it was something that you probably were glad you have grandchildren?
Yes, I do.
You were probably glad your grandchildren weren't close enough to hear you speak to the wind in the language and attitude that you were speaking to it in. Am I correct? Have you had days like that?
Many of those.
Okay, and when you stayed in it and finished that day, did that make you feel better than the days where there was no, when the sun shined all day and it was just a work day and it was nice and you finished that day? What day did you get the most satisfaction from? The one that was convenient and nice, or the one that really challenged you to complete it?
I believe it's always like a challenge. Once you get over and get it done, you feel like you were born again. Feel great.
Born again, I like that.
Yes.
Miss Diana.
Yes.
You've had experience in substitute teaching. That means you probably had times where you missed an assignment that you wanted and you were left as but disappointment. And you probably have seen some students that really challenged you, and where do you get the most satisfaction from finding an A student that stays an A student, or a C student that becomes a C plus or B minus or B student?
I actually like to see my students achieve. One thing I can say is when I worked at another charter school in Santa Ana, we brought in some students that were under a 2.0 because they wanted to start changing things up and getting remotivated. So we brought them in, and by the time they graduated, they had, and say they came in junior or sophomore year. By the time they graduated with at least 2 to 3 college classes. To me, that's a success.
That's achievement.
Yes.
I have memory of a class. It was one of the first college classes, and everybody got an A. And everybody was sitting around, oh, we did real good. And the instructor said, okay, that test, we're throwing that one away. I said, well, what do you mean? Well, he said, well, I didn't test anybody. All of you guys got A's, so you weren't tested. I don't have any idea of what your achievement level is. I just was a bad test. So the next test, we didn't do that well, but he felt better as an instructor, and we were in a much better position as students knowing where we really stood. Making progress. As I asked you the question about the student with the A that keeps the A, what do we do with the student that seems to be excelling constantly and not being able to demonstrate that through testing because they always get perfect grades? Have you seen students like that, or is that my imagination?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The thing is testing is only done to see if what knowledge they may have gained. But if they're an A student, they're going to need other things. Like, for instance, we're looking at partnering with San Bernardino Valley College, which means our students that are more at the A level will have an opportunity to go to college, and everybody else will work their way into it also.
So what you're saying, though, is you would give them another level of challenge.
You meet them where they're at.
Yeah, you meet them where they are, but you take them to another level of challenge. And the fact that our colleges do interact with the high schools, and it's a great opportunity there. Once again, we are closing today's show. Been a good show, very quick, very fast hour. I would like for you to somehow, with your last statement, say something about the moral obligation, not only in the work that you're doing, but your thoughts for America. And you'll get a chance to come back and talk about your business stuff at another level. All right?
Okay.
Then Ms. Diana, you.
Couple things in my last statement. I would like to dispel some myths on charter schools.
Okay, you got about 30 seconds.
I can do that. One of them is charter schools are private institutions. They are not. They are public. They run on public funding. They're also 501c3s. So they're nonprofits. They are not ran by a private corporation. The other ones, not all charter schools wear uniforms. And the other is we are open to all students.
Very good. Ms. Evangelica, Mr. Pereira, your statement.
I would like to say that this program, FEMA, providing up to $3,000 for a homeowner to retrofit their house, it is a beautiful program. It helps the community and also give us the opportunity to employ people and keep them earning their wages. And hopefully we never get the big one. But if we do, we are ready for it.
Very good, Ms. Tammy.
Oh, well, I always have, keep networking. Networking is about diversifying the way that you think, the way that you plan. It's meeting people. And the moralistic thing behind that is the more people you meet, I think the better we become and the more understanding and patient we become with each other.
God doesn't make any mistakes. We're all here. We're all here together. There is an opportunity for us to prove that we are smooth enough to make that happen and make it happen correctly. There's also the opportunity that we will fool around and do something like we had happen in Hawaii yesterday, where they got a false alarm. that they were under nuclear attack. I'm happy to see there was not an increase in rape, there was not an increase in robbery, there was an increase apparently in genuine, sincere hugs. But folks, we cannot afford to let man's ineptness be the ultimate choice as to whether we're going to make it good or not. If you've got a home that needs to be retrofitted and you got a way to pay for it, you'd be foolish not to do it. If you've got a kid that needs to go to school and he's got extra learning issues and you're not pushing him to do that, whether it's your kid or whether it's the kid next door, you're foolish if you're not doing that. So we as a people have to work together. Yeah, I guess I'm a little salty because I'm trying to celebrate and smile in the face of the death of a person
But
who
ended on a
really
sweet one.
gave. Well, I always ended on a sweet one, Miss Tammy. Y'all be here next week under two circumstances.
Two.
One is if the good Lord's willing, and the other one is if the creek does not overflow.
And it won't.
We'll be back. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Where we'll end up.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
This is Pastor Greg from Chosen Generation Radio Show, heard right here on KCAA, 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do any of these sound familiar? Not sleeping well, waking up tired, drinking more coffee than usual, can't stay focused, craving sugary drinks and snacks, feel like you're stuck on a treadmill, having trouble managing your weight, not sick but not firing on all cylinders? Any one of these could mean that you might have a system overload, and Thyroadrenal might just be right for you. Think about it. You've probably been feeling like this for a while. Life has a way of wearing you down, and if you aren't getting the right nutrients, then physical and emotional wear and tear will take its toll. Most of us at some time or another could use some nutritional support for our adrenal and thyroid glands to bring things back in balance. Our bodies respond well to